Hi viewers, The Life of Muthu తమిళ్లో సూపర్ బ్లాక్ బస్టర్ అయింది. సో తెలుగులో కూడా రిలీజ్ అయ్యి చాలా పాజిటివ్ వ్యూస్ వస్తున్నాయి. మనతో మాట్లాడడానికి డైరెక్టర్ గౌతమ్ వాసుదేవ్ మీనన్ గారు ఉన్నారు అండ్ ద బ్యూటిఫుల్ సిద్ధి ఇడాని ఉంది. సో లెట్స్ టాక్ విత్ దెమ్. హలో సార్, కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్. తమిళ్ ఫస్ట్, అక్కడ తెలుగులో కూడా చాలా పాజిటివ్ రివ్యూస్ వస్తున్నాయి. యు ఆర్ గెటింగ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ అప్రిషియేషన్ నేషనల్ వైడ్. అభిషేక్ బచ్చన్ గారు, ఎవ్రీవన్ వాస్ ట్వీటెడ్. సో లెట్స్ షేర్ యువర్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అండ్ ద హ్యాపీనెస్.
I'm very happy. Also, the idea was to make sure a lot more people see the film. Today, with the whole, pan-Indian sort of approach to every film. One thing I decided, I wanted this to go out as a Tamil film everywhere else.
Okay.
And Telugu should have like a version. So that's what we've done. Because I have made films here and the audience here knows my work from earlier, and I thought this would be an important film for them to also experience. But with everywhere else, we put it out as a Tamil film, which is why the idea of the trailer with people doing voiceovers in certain languages, like in Hindi, in Malayalam, in Kannada, but the rest of the trailer was in Tamil. So I thought it was a new initiative actually, and it went really well. I'm happy right now. If you ask me how I'm feeling, I'm very happy.
So initially you planned to release this movie in all the languages?
No, I didn't want to, because the story is sort of deep-rooted inside from Tamil Nadu, from a small village, how this boy travels and reaches Mumbai, right? So we wanted to make it as a Tamil film, but reach it to a larger audience with sort of, market the film across India and across the world with subtitles as a Tamil film.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said in a recent interview, nothing is impossible. So how does this impossible thing makes happen for you?
I think so can answer that better.
No, you should answer. You should answer first.
I
Then
don't
I'll
know.
ask you.
Very honestly, it's just the zeal that is there within you to keep going on in life. And ups and downs are inevitable. That's bound to happen. And what you do with those ups and downs is what decides your future ahead. And I decided that I'm not going to settle with my failures. I said that I have that in me to kind of come back. And I think that was it. Just there was a change of mindset, there was a change of approach, and I think that change led me to serve. And then the rest is all in front of you.
Okay. Sir, when Jai Mohan sir told about you the script, so what made you to accept this film?
15 minutes of a short story is what he narrated. There was something about that 15 minutes, and then he had left it open to the reader's imagination, right? So, and I went to him saying, I want to make a low-lying sort of gangster film, like people at the bottommost ranks, they're not gang leaders or gang lords or big-time gangsters as yet. I want to make something on these lines. And he said, this story that I told you, we can easily get that into this area, he said.
Okay.
There was something very exciting about, seeing these characters unfold for me, per se. I wanted to film these characters straight away. And he said he knows a few people who've lived this life.
Okay.
So I said, sir, if you can just write it for me, then I will bring it, make it my own, visualize it, and I will make it into a film. And that's how we are here today.
So is it based on real incidents?
It's based on real incidents, based on one real person also.
Okay.
We didn't meet that person, but Jai Mohan, the writer, knows him.
He knows about that person, where and when exactly it was happened.
Yes.
You know when and where it was exactly?
No, I didn't ask beyond the fact that I was listening to something that I wanted to film immediately. But he said this is based on true events. There is a place like this, and there are people who've lived this life. And there is one person who he wouldn't want to reveal himself. I'm also not saying this because we've never mentioned that it's a true life story at all till today. We've not talked about it because I didn't want that idea to be put out that's like we're marketing the film, But only Jai Mohan sir knew who this person is, and this character arc is based on that person's life.
Okay. Then why Jai Mohan sir wanted a new face for this?
Because star comes with his or her own
lot of
trappings,
expectations,
right?
yeah.
So you watch a film with a star's sort of repertoire of work,
yes.
and you know that he's capable. There's a screen image that a star has, right? A star can easily bash up a few people. Why should we be bothered about the small things that happen in a gangster sort of a setup? But a boy who travels from a village, who doesn't have that image about him, might get affected when he sees somebody washing blood off their hands, might get affected if he sees a knife being taken out, and somebody sitting in an auto with a knife next to him. He might wonder, I might be scared if I look at a knife with somebody, you know, looking like that, carrying a knife next to me. So we wanted somebody who won't have those trappings of a star.
Okay.
So he said, let's get a newcomer to do this role. But I said, I will make Simbu the newcomer. I'm very confident that he will pull it off. You know, so once Simbu gets into the skin of the character and portrays that character, when you watch the film from frame 1, you'll forget it's Simbu and you'll only be with Muthu. And that's what he's done, I think, so beautifully.
Okay. Tell something about your character and that your real life and real life character was. Is there any similarities? How it is connected for you?
Interesting. So, Pavani, in the life of Muthu, she is basically a Tamil girl. She's born and brought up in Bombay, and all her life she's been there. So, what happens when you stay in a city like Bombay, which is so fast-paced, you automatically cultivate a very hard exterior. Also because of certain circumstances in her life and all of that. But what I have come to learn about this character is that she might portray to be this really like hard exterior, but from inside she has that innocence, that little bit of timidness in her, and I like the way Pavani surrenders to Muthu. I think that to me was a very special aspect of this film. Talking about how similar it is to my real life, well, I don't think it is very similar.
Okay.
But what I can take back from this character definitely is the fact that she is very calm and composed. There is this elegance in her, and that elegance is very internal because of the way Sir writes his characters. It doesn't matter whether they're poor, rich, middle class. There is an internal elegance with which she conducts herself, you know, with the way she carries herself. And I think that is something that I take back from Pavani.
How many times that you auditioned for this character?
How many times? I think it was just one morning dialogue.
Audition?
Huh.
No.
No.
It was like
She came in the morning.
Acha, okay.
And we got her dressed in
There is no
clothes.
audition.
No, there was no major audition.
Okay,
We just,
okay.
because we were doing a scene that day, I asked one of my chief ADs to sit with her and just
Okay.
explain the dialogues.
Okay.
And it was a dialogue heavy scene. Actually, she had all the lines in that scene. Simbu just had to say.
She
who,
told
what,
without
why,
prompting
all
all the dialogues?
Yeah. So she's very good with the lines. So she
Okay.
took the lines that time we gave her, and I think we straight away did that scene.
Yeah.
And it was after that we did all the rehearsals for the later scenes.
Actually, for me, this seemed like an audition because I didn't know what's happening until
Okay.
after doing the scene with Simbu.
Okay.
sir.
You don't know about the story and line, anything?
No, I think that was not important to me at all.
Okay,
Just the fact
okay.
that I'm getting an opportunity to work with him, with Simbu sir, with Mr. A.R. Rahman is more than enough for me to just say yes.
So I hope you're happy about
Don't
I'm
that.
extremely happy.
Don't you feel nervous because you working with Gautham Garu and Simbu Garu? The first day, first shot, did you remember?
No, she wasn't nervous.
I wasn't.
You was not nervous?
No, the thing with me in general in life is that I work best under pressure. I
super.
prefer not taking dialogues beforehand. I prefer
Okay.
taking it on the set because that surrounding that situation, no? Because your focus is completely on that particular moment. So there's nothing to distract you. And the
Okay.
same thing happened, and actually very honestly when I got to know that I'm doing this kind of a, maybe an audition for me in the morning, I was like, dude, I have to do 200% justice to it because opportunities like this don't come knocking
Yes,
at your
yes,
door
yes.
twice.
True. We
So
have
I was
to
like,
go.
I have to kill it, and I just went with that intention.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that was, it is, I think, perhaps the most special day for me because I've come in the morning and the evening I'm doing a scene with Simbu sir, and then after that I went to Gautham sir.
Gautham
I
sir.
asked him, I said, sir, was it okay? Am I selected? And he's like, I just did a scene with Simbu and you. I mean, what do you mean?
And they told you one day shoot, and after the shoot got cancelled, you felt very nervous because they are going to place someone.
I got, actually Simbu sir's health was not okay the next day or
Yeah.
something. So I was like, oh my god, maybe.
Then
was
you
not
called to
sure.
Gautham sir.
I called Preeti and I asked Preeti, I said, everything's okay, right? Like it's not my issue. She's like, no, don't worry, it's all good. You come back, we'll continue shooting.
ఓకే సార్ యూ చేంజ్ ద డెఫినేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఎస్టీఆర్ మీనింగ్. తనకు ఒక నేమ్ ఉండేది, లైక్ మీరు సింగిల్ టేక్ రాజా అని చేంజ్ చేసేసారు. సో ఇది మీరు ప్రీవియస్ తనతో వర్క్ చేసినప్పుడే ఫిక్స్ అయిపోయారా, లైక్ హీఈస్ లైక్ సింగిల్ టేక్ రాజా అని?
Yeah, he is that for sure. Like from Vinitandi, and then I made Acham Enbad Manameda, and in this film, I know what he's capable of for sure.
ఓకే.
Like I can push the envelope anytime with him, and I know he will completely melt into, you know, what I want him to do. And he'll give it to me with no effort, with minimal effort. I mean, there's
Okay.
no rehearsal, reading time. Let me
వితౌట్
internalize the
రిహార్సల్
lines.
అదంతా చేయకుండానే
Yeah. He's actually very raw in that first take,
Okay.
and you should just grab that. You know, so too much of rehearsal is not right, I feel. And even lines and all, you know, it doesn't take too much of time. And there's a way that we get the lines done with him. We know that with each other. He'll read the whole scene. He'll look at me. I'll say yeah, and then we just take the shot. And then,
Okay.
honestly, it's all single takes. It's like
Yeah.
you know, unless there's some issue with the camera work or some light or something, we do another take. Or if it's an action sequence for perfection, you know, for it to be in that perfect zone, we might try a couple of more takes. But otherwise, with performance and delivery and you know, the way he sort of plays that particular moment, it's all in single takes. I mean, everybody
హౌ
knows
డస్ ఇట్ పాసిబుల్ లైక్ 5 minutes యాక్షన్ సీక్వెన్స్ అండ్ 2-3 minutes ఇద్దరి కాంబినేషన్ లో సీన్స్ కూడా సింగిల్ టేక్ లో ఎలా
that
పాసిబుల్
was rehearsed over 4-5 days because
Acha, okay.
Simbu didn't rehearse it. We rehearsed it for 4-5 days, the action sequence, because a lot of things had to fall. So with the fighters and with the camera, we rehearsed it over 5 days because it starts from downstairs, it goes into, then it goes up the stairs, it goes outside the building and comes inside the camera, you know. So we rehearsed it one day before Simbu came and saw the choreography.
Okay.
And he rehearsed it once and he said good. On the day of the shoot, he rehearsed one more time because it's a lot of other actors, other fighters and all that stuff. And we took 5 takes for that single shot take, not because of anybody, but because everything had to fall in place. I think the 5th take is what is there in the film, and it's a magical take, I think.
3 క్యారెక్టర్ వేరియేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా సార్, అంటే ఈ 20 years ఏజ్ గ్యాప్, దాని తర్వాత ఇంకొంచెం మెచ్యూర్డ్ ఏజ్, ఇదంతా మీరు ఎలా హ్యాండిల్ చేయగలిగారు? మేకప్ కానీ అదంతా?
No, I know he'll give me that, right? So we discussed that in the beginning itself. I told him you start off as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old leaving
Yes,
the village. So we want you in that look. You know, he chops wood for a living in the forest and takes it and makes some money and brings it back to his mother. So that body language, you know, tired, sweaty, in that zone. And then somewhere he works in this parota restaurant in Bombay, and there's a lot of grime and, you know, cleaning the tables and you know, living in one space, one small space with 30-40 men. They all sleep in spaces marked by chalk.
Yes.
And that's all they have, you know, so
Okay.
everybody sleeps next to each other, kind of a thing. So all that, you know, he went through all that. The body language kept changing accordingly to that, you know. There was an overall body language that he maintained. And look-wise also, I told him once you get into the next area of the film, I thought a beard might help, slightly, you know, like a stubble sort of thing. And then towards the end, we thought we'll go with a completely different look. So
మీ ఫేవరెట్ లుక్ ఏంటి సింబు గారిది?
Okay, I think I can't really choose, very honestly.
Okay.
Because every from the age, you know, the 3 transitions that we've done, there's like something different that he brings to the table.
Okay.
So it's very difficult to choose a particular thing. But I think Muthu that comes back in the second half
okay.
is like.
So she has scenes with the Muthu, all the 3
Muthu
looks.
and the first the
No,
boy.
she has
Okay.
scenes with all the 3
All the
looks,
3
yeah,
age
like
groups.
the boy from the village who works in the
Acha,
parota restaurant, who meets her at the
Then she like every
yeah, who meets her in the clothes store. She
Yes.
has moments with him.
Okay.
And then for 6 months almost, she's not seen him. So there is a
Acha,
scene in the
okay.
film where he comes and stands in front of her and she looks at him. It's one of my favorite moments in the film. I like the way she's acted in that, where she just looks at him. And somewhere you can see that she's a little taken aback by how he looks a little different. He looks a little more grown up now. And the fact that he's here again after so many months or days, you know. And it's a very subtle expression that she came up with, which I really liked. And you can see there's one interest which sets up the mood for the next scene. When he meets her in the middle of the night, she sort of, even though she pushes him away, at the end of the scene they decide to sort of come together in that space. So this
So-
scene was very important.
సెట్లో గౌతమ్ గారు ఎలా ఉంటారు? అంటే మేము ఎప్పుడు చూసినా చాలా కామ్గా ఉంటారు, ఎప్పుడైనా సీరియస్ అవ్వడం,
Yeah, I'm firing.
ఏదైనా
screaming.
ఫైరింగ్ ఆర్ షౌటింగ్, ఎప్పుడు ఇలానే ఉంటారా సెట్లో?
You know, very honestly, this I'm not saying this. It's actually very awkward to say and praise him in front of him.
Don't do
బట్ ఓకే, వీ వాంట్ టు నో.
I think he was so calm and composed. Like, he's called classy for a reason, you know. I feel like that is just him. whether it's on, you know, giving interviews or whether it's on film
Media,
set,
yes,
it is so calm and composed. Now, in front of us now, I don't know, with the direction team or something, maybe it might be different. I'm not.
You can ask them.
I'll ask them, but you know.
You never asked our direction team? Because
I'll ask them after this.
Yes.
I'll be like, okay. But to me, I was like, wow, like, you know, and so much of freedom and so much of spontaneity. Because to a new girl who's just starting out her, you know, career, it felt like all the freedom in the world.
Okay.
And the expression also that he's speaking about when I see Muthu after a couple of months, it just, he's like, okay, this is the situation. And he won't tell you how you do it. That he leaves up to the actor, and that's the freedom that he gives his actors. And I think that's the reason why we have also ended up performing so well, because it is our own inputs that we are trying to put in, and that's the kind of freedom that we've got. In terms of spontaneity also, it's like, you know, magic happens on the set, on his set especially, and especially with the song which we did on the parapet scene. We did it, and it was the whole one take thing, handheld shot.
Yes, yes.
And when we were seeing it, I was like, now I know how Mr. Gautham Menon creates magic, because it's so organic. It's not planned. Magic can never be planned. It can't be like, this is here, do a wink here, smile here. He was just like, go and flow. And I think that's one of my most favorite scenes in the entire film. And it's so special, and it makes you feel like, okay, you know, you can sense the chemistry.
Okay. Sir, coming to A.R. Rahman sir music, మీ కాంబినేషన్లో వచ్చిన ప్రీవియస్ ఫిల్మ్స్ అన్ని మ్యూజికల్ బ్లాక్ బస్టర్స్. ఈ మూవీలో కూడా సాంగ్స్ చాలా బాగున్నాయి, అండ్ బీజిఎం ఆర్ఆర్ గురించి అందరు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. సో ఏఆర్ రెహమాన్ గారిని పిక్ చేసుకోవడానికి వాట్ వాస్ ద మెయిన్ రీజన్?
I think I always take my films to him. If sir is busy and he feels within the timeline he can't do it, he'll let me know.
From Vinnaytandi it started, you
Yes.
both are.
No, even before that. I've taken most
Okay.
of my films to him to ask him if he can do the music. But
Okay.
for some reason or the other, they've not been able to work together.
So you
And
always
Minali also,
wanted.
Minali also, I asked him only first.
Acha, okay.
Yeah. And then of course I had a great working equation with Harris, and we made a lot of great music together, beautiful songs and all that. And then I always wanted to work with Rahman. So Vinnaytandi, when I went and met him and I narrated the idea to him, he said, we'll do this.
Okay.
So likewise, when I first wrote this and we had an opportunity to read a script like this from Jaymohan sir, we were already working on a story with Rahman sir only. It was already confirmed, a love story, a very interesting kind of a love story. But when I read this and when I thought this is what I should make, I took it to him. But we had already composed and recorded 3 songs for the other story. So I told him, sir, I don't want to waste your time. We've already composed and recorded. So I'll use the same tunes in this film. We'll just write the lyrics differently and we'll just have to re-record it again. He said, no, don't worry about that. That's not a problem. We'll let that be there for that script. We'll record fresh. We'll compose fresh for this. And we sat on the song situations for this. So that was beautiful, you know, for him to say that and telling me not to worry about what we've already done and all that. So, and like you said, he's elevated the film.
Yes.
There's a line that he's maintained, keeping the essence of the story and the screenplay and the scenes. And just one notch above, you know, he's picked it up in that space. So the background score is outstanding.
Okay, so is there any memorable incident for you in the whole set, like Gautham sir and Silambarasan? You worked with Silambarasan. Can you share anything craziest or funniest?
Actually, on a daily basis, there was so much to learn because when you're put in a situation when there are such established individuals around you, this every second of the set, you're just like constantly being this girl who's trying to like absorb as much as I could. Having said that, the first day definitely is going to be the most memorable day because coming in the morning and in the evening performing with Simbu sir, and this entire scene also went so well. And I think there was this one very funny incident where we were on the in Bombay we were shooting and there was a bike
Scooter,
scene,
okay, bike, okay.
where I was sitting behind Simbu sir and I get really scared of bikes, so I was
Okay.
like very conscious and I was wearing a sari,
Okay.
so I had to sit.
You need to
sideways.
sit properly
Yeah, I
then.
sit sideways, and like I said, Pavani is very elegant. So she sat and Simbu sir didn't realize that I have not sat completely, so he's just
Okay.
started the bike.
Okay.
And I remember I jumped off the bike and it was kind of funny.
Okay.
because he's like, "Ninga action director Madri." He's telling me, "You only do the action scenes in the next part."
Super, huh?
So yeah, but other than that, also with Simbu sir, I think sharing screen space with someone who's such a fabulous actor, no, it's very challenging for me or anybody, whoever, if not me, because he is recognized as a spectacular actor. Everybody is aware of that. So I had to do my 10,000% because the eyeballs are obviously going to be on Simbu sir.
Yes,
Now, what can
obviously.
I do just so that they can probably look at me and then look at him and then look at me, look at him? So it was very, very challenging, but I hope I've done justice to it.
Sir, why you always choose like expensive, stylish cotton dresses for all your heroines?
Do I? I mean, she's wearing something by herself.
I think the previous costume was, I guess, a little bit of cotton. You.
I have
yeah.
nothing to do with how she wears her clothes.
No, I am not asking about promotion. I am asking about films.
So
like
in
your
this
previous
film, she
films.
plays a girl who works in a clothes store, a very modest living sort of thing, house and everything. Father and a stepmother, we've suggested. So I think the clothes are accordingly, and within that, like she said, there is an elegance about her. There is a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot of classiness about her within that environment where she lives. She's a dreamer. She wants to move out. She wants to break free, but there is a father who's holding her back, and that's why she's always on that parapet, looking out, dreaming, right? So somewhere that was suggested, and I think we kind of dressed her accordingly. I thought, there was no everything. I think you see, costume design shouldn't stand out.
Okay.
It should blend and merge with the film. That's what is styling and costume design. I think in this film, it's right up there. I have to mention this because nothing stands out because it blends and merges with the rest of the frame. There was a lot of work that we did. The color palettes were like Rajivan, Uttara, myself and Siddhartha, we sat down
You
and figured
also
out.
into costume?
Yeah, I mean, it comes to me. There's a lot of discussion that goes into what the colors will be in the film, what palette we'll be working with. We won't do this, we won't do that. They won't wear black, stuff like that we discussed. And it's always shown to me, it's approved. And then if you see Simbu's shirts, an interesting combination of patterns on his shirt actually. And if you go and look at people who work in these places, they wear shirts like that.
Okay.
And what she wore also I thought was very apt with, what the mode of the scene was and the characters were. So I think we've really cracked it with that.
And there was a lot of mismatching happening. It's not like it's coordinated.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
whatever is available, but within what is available, how can you make it good? Also, I'd like to add the fact that there's a lot of unlearning that happens because as actors and especially actresses, you come with a preconceived notion that, oh my god, my lipstick has to be this color,
Yes,
my
yes.
mascara, my eyeliner. But with Sir, what happens is there's a lot of unlearning that happens, and it like rips you off what you believe is ideal beauty.
Okay.
To me, very honestly, I don't think I've ever looked this beautiful. I feel like in this particular film, I've looked the most beautiful, and that's because I'm looking my most natural self. And I think that's what, even with Muthu's character, you
Okay.
won't see Simbu, the star, you will see Muthu.
Okay.
Yeah.
సో సీక్వెల్ కూడా రెడీగా ఉందా మీకు? నెక్స్ట్ పార్ట్ స్టోరీ అంతా రెడీగా ఉందా?
Yeah, the plot points are ready.
Okay.
We're working on it.
సో అది కూడా బేస్డ్ ఆన్ రియల్ ఇన్సిడెంట్స్
Yeah, so see, the idea of making a sequel and taking his journey forward is not to make an outlandishly wild, stylish, big film. It's going to be an emotional drama. I'm aiming to make, and if I can achieve that, I'll be very happy and proud. I'm aiming to make a Nayagan. I'm aiming to
Okay.
make what Godfather was.
ఓకే.
So it's an emotional drama. It's not going to be an unnecessarily commercial film. That's what we're trying to make with the sequel.
సార్ లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, ఇఫ్ నాట్ సింబు, డూ యూ చూస్ ఎనీ అదర్ హీరో ఫర్ దిస్ క్యారెక్టర్ ఇఫ్ నాట్ సింబు?
For this film? No.
నో, ఓన్లీ ఫర్ సింబు?
Right now, I can't say, and I can't see it also happening.
ఓకే. సో ఆల్ ద వెరీ బెస్ట్ సార్. హోప్ఫుల్లీ పార్ట్ 2 కోసం వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నాము. సో ఆల్ ద వెరీ బెస్ట్. ఇది ఈరోజు ద లైఫ్ ఆఫ్ ముత్తు టీమ్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ. దిస్ ఈజ్ రమ్య సైనింగ్ ఆఫ్.